What's going on, everybody? It's Nate, your vintage roller, and it's new-ish skate day. So for those of you that follow my Facebook and or Instagram, or see me on Rollerblade, or any of the other forums, Blade Setups, Blade Tech, any of that stuff, you know that I've had a project in the works, and it's 99.5% complete, so I'm going to unveil it. So I created the GSL with the help of Kyle Kiddrick on Blade Setups and Blade Tech. And what that is a fusion of the Razors Genesys boot with the Razors SL Soul plate. Now, some of you are like, well, what's the difference? Well, the SL is a completely different boot mold than what the Genesys was. And these are the Genesys right here. These are my Genesys ones, the original first generation Genesys with the first generation wide body sole plates. Now, the look of these, you can look and see that the way the sole plate is and the back slab plate, it's a little different than what I'm about to show you. And what it took to do that is I actually had to cut the interior of this out. I had to remove the sole plate off of the Genesys that I used, my Franken skates, and cut the center of this out, trimmed up the backslide, and then trimmed up the tumors on the side of this. And that's what they're called technically, is tumors, since they do kind of tumor out. And I'm going to show you right here how it's got the lip here and then here on the inside and the outside. And what I'll do is I'm going to add the pictures that Kyle sent me, as well as some of the pictures that I have of progress through cutting out and trimming down the boot. The final product of my Razors GSL, the blending of old and new, is this. And what I did is I took some time and I searched and was able to find some white cuffs, everything else like that. I present to you my Razors GSLs. And what this is a Razors Genesys 7.3 boot with the SL sole plate, backslide plate. It's got a Edwin cuff from Razors, which is a little bit different design. USD Nick Lomax liners. On the interior, there's a Razors SL sole plate, shock absorber. And then ground control, the light 3 frames, standard white ground controls, antis, and dead black and red wheels with derby red laces. And that's what they look like, y'all. Now, some key points to take away from the GSL 2 and the Genesys is the bottoms of these skates. I'm going to stand up and show you. So, the way the GSL is designed is the frame actually sits into the interior of the boot. When you cut this out, you actually cut down into the tip of the boot here, just enough, probably about 1/8 of an inch or so, to remove it. And you don't see it here, but it actually dips in the boot. And you'll see that in the pictures that I'm going to drop with this video. But the GSL versus the Genesys. Okay? So, I am very, very excited to skate these, simply because it does put you lower to the ground as compared to some of the other skates that are out there that I know a lot of people like skating higher with the big wheels, especially like the Aeons, when you've got the, you run 65s with Aeons, 72s, 80s, and still be able to do your tricks. And even with some of the Wish frames out there, as well as Solo, where you can run Rockard 65, 65-60, or 72-65, I think is another one that people are being able to squeak into their skates and give you a little bit more height on your skate. But for me, I like riding lower because makes me feel more stable, keeps me centered on the ground a little bit better. And I know I'm not the greatest skater, not by any stretch of the imagination, but skating new skates and helping you guys out and determine whether you want to do a modification or whether you want to skate a boot is something that I really like. So yeah, I'm going to hopefully be able to skate these here soon, the next couple days, and be able to drop a video and let y'all know what I actually think of them. I've rolled around in them just a little bit. I was able to get a couple stalls in on my box, and they lock almost identical to what the Genesys lock on Souls. It's pretty much the same width as the Genesys Souls. But the thing that I noticed differently is jumping onto Royales, with how low the frame sits into the boot itself. Royales are super cinch. Like, it's like you don't even have to try to get into a Royale or a Favre on these. And we'll see how I do with it. My Royales are pretty solid anyways, simply because I grew up skating like really tall frames with almost no sole. The Colts, the Shimas, King 55s, Backyard Bobs, like all of those, they had decent sized soles to them, but the frames were like a mile tall. So, and anybody that doesn't believe me, here I'll show you the difference in frames. This is the Ground Control Featherlight 3. This is what's coming stock on almost every Razor now. Before, what came on the Razors, the Colts, and I'll show you now, is this is the Gen 1 frame. Okay? Razors Colt 4. There's a huge difference in soles and frame height. I know it's not the greatest, but if anybody wants the measurements, leave me a message and I can give you measurements from sole to the base and let you know. But doing Royales on taller frames with very limited soles, you got to tip way far over to get that good angle and get that good lock on a Royale. Where these, you really got to try. Like, that's sitting right on my hand. So, let me know what you think. I'm excited to skate these and hear what you guys' thoughts are on them. Let me know what you think of how they look. Again, this full setup here, this build, is a Genesys boot shell, Razors SL sole plates, sliders, and backslide plate. This is the Edwin Weirna cuff, red buckles, Ground Control Featherlight 3 frames, dead wheels, Ground Control anti-rockers, and the USD Nick Lomax camouflage liner, which is a fantastic liner. It feels really good in this boot. And then it's also got the SL shock absorbers in the heel for protection. Overall, this mod, start to finish, if you take your time on it and you're very attentive, you go straight through anywhere from 4 to 6 hours. If you do this mod, please take your time completing it. You want to make sure that you're getting your measurements right. Take your time. One of the tips that you can use when you're getting your measurements in is flip your new SL sole plate. I'll show you with the Razors, like with the Genesys and the Genesys plate here. Okay, this is the one off of these ones down here that I used. What you're going to do is you're going to take the sole from the opposite skate, so you'll take a right sole on a left boot. Okay, when you take that sole, I've got a left and a right here, so you're going to take left boot and a right sole, turn them upside down, and screw them into place. When you screw the soles, the SL soles in, okay, screw them all the way down to they're tight. And then that's when you draw with a pencil, paint marker, whatever you want to draw with to get your shape on the bottom, draw it in with. Okay, remove it, shake it around a little bit, put it back on, mount it one more time, get it in there nice and solid, trace it again, and then you do it a third time. So you're going to do it 3 full times just to make sure you get it right. You don't have to. If you trust yourself and you trust your measurements, then go for it. Me, I did it 3 times to make sure I got them on the boot right. And you know what? It paid off. My son's Roshi's decided they were going to go for a ride. All right. So, anyways, that's the first tip for doing them. After that, just take your time. Follow your guidelines. Follow your measurements. If you got any questions, reach out to me on Facebook Messenger, Instagram Messenger, and I will gladly help you with what I can. Since I have done it once, I'm not an expert in it, but it was a very fun mod. It's on a scale of 1 to 10. Just doing the basic mod on this, I'd say I give it about a 6.5 on the difficulty scale. If you do want that super smooth, like it's designed this way, like Razors made this look, your mod difficulty level is going to go up to about a 9 because the SL Souls do have notches cut into the interior of the sole to click into place on the actual SL boot, as well as the sliders and the backslide plates along the top have notches that click into the boot to help hold them in place. Okay, if you do that and you want to go that route, you're going to have to make sure you measure, triple measure, quadruple measure, however many times you need to measure to make sure you get those on there. And I've got tips for how to do that. But that's if you decide to do the mod. The next time I do this mod, if I do it one more time, I will definitely up the difficulty level and do for the click-in sole mounting notches. But as it stands now, like I've jumped in them, I've skated in them for a few minutes, and it's solid. We'll see how they grind, see how they perform here in a couple days. As always, y'all, please let me know what you think. Leave me comments, concerns, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope you're finding projects on your skates to do, skating in your garage, building a P-rail, modifying skates, creating something new, creating it, making it your own. As always, take care, be safe, and remember, peace, love, and rollerblades. I'm out.